In today's session of Divorce Court, Shontel Novak says her husband Chris never hid the fact that he had another girlfriend.
I've been with Adrian for a year and a half.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Adrian.
yes.
But when he bragged about being a new dad, she was devastated.
You called me from the hospital.
What?
She was
Oh,
pregnant and
it's-
she did have his child.
Oh, that is just ridiculous. You weren't that inconsiderate and that cold, were you?
Now Chris has his new girlfriend in court.
She needs to leave us alone. You know, we have our own life.
You're gonna stand here and hold hands in my courtroom and be lovey-dovey. You're still married to Mrs. Novak.
Today, Shontel Novak faces Chris Couch and his girlfriend in this session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Shontel Novak versus Chris Couch. I'm advised that after 3.5 years of marriage, Mrs. Novak, you're ready to end it. Why?
Yes, Your Honor, because he has made my life a living hell. He has cheated on me.
You're living in your
No.
I'm saying live in hell and cheated on you.
Because you have,
maybe
I've
she's
caught
going
you
to tell
several
me.
times.
Several times?
Several times.
Doing what?
I've caught him kissing one girl in the kitchen of our apartment. I have caught him
Kissing who?
sleeping with girls.
When is this
You mean, was
supposed
he
to
asleep or
happen?
having sexual
He was
intercourse
having
with
sex
him?
with them.
You caught him in the actual
When was
act?
this supposed to happen?
Yes, Your
When?
Honor, I
No.
have.
When?
I
She's
have
gonna
caught
tell
you
us in a
several
minute
times.
if you allow her to finish.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I have caught him several times.
Okay,
I
that's
was-
sexual encounter with one, and
yes.
what else?
And with the other one, I had caught him doing the same thing.
What's the same thing, kissing or having sex or both?
Having sex and kissing her.
In the bed?
Yes.
In your house?
Yes.
In your house.
In our house.
In your house.
Yes.
First of all, I was never home. I made
Yes, you
sure
were.
I did not want to be around
Yes,
you,
you
period.
were.
What do you mean you were never home? In 3.5 years, you were never at home?
No, Your Honor, I stayed home away from home as much as possible.
Well, that's not never. Do you understand the difference in never and not home often?
Yes, Your Honor, but the times that I was home, Mrs. Novak was not.
Well, maybe you thought
That's
she
'cause
wasn't
I was
home, and
at
maybe that's
work.
what happened. Did she come home and catch you?
No, Your Honor.
Never.
Yes, I did.
Are you making all of this up
No, I
to
am
entice,
not.
you know, to
No.
make your
No, I'm
situation
not.
sound better?
No, I am not.
So can you give him some details to refresh his recollection?
Yes, I can. I had came home from work and I had caught you in bed.
Home from
with...
work. You don't work.
Yes, I do.
You don't
and yes,
work.
I
How the
did.
hell do you
Did
come
she
home
have,
from
Yes, I
something
excuse
you
did.
me,
have?
how in the what?
Sorry, Your Honor.
And yes, I did. If you remember right, I was working.
You don't work.
She's never worked.
You go out, you pick up money from your friends, you loan me some money, Chris will pay it back.
So she borrows money against your money
Yes, she does, Your
after
Honor.
you're paying all the bills.
So I end up
How do you
paying the bills.
figure
I
that?
end up
How do
paying
you
her
figure
debts
it?
off.
Paying the bills and the debts.
Yes, Your Honor.
How do
Why
you
are you
figure
borrowing
that
money
we
from
still
your
have
friends?
a $600 phone bill that isn't paid that's in both of our names?
Yeah, let's talk about these bills. We've been separated for how long now, Shontel? Separated for what, 2 years? Almost 3 years
year
now?
and a half.
A year and a half. I've been with Adrian for a year and a half. Was separated for
there's
a
a
year
new lady.
for you.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Adrian.
Yes.
Yes,
and
Your
she
Honor.
was
Oh,
pregnant and
it's-
she did have his child.
Yes, she
She
did. I have
was
a
6
beautiful
months ago.
5-month son.
6 months ago.
6 months
And you're
ago.
still married to
called me
Mrs.
From
Novak?
the hospital.
Miss-
What?
You called me from the hospital
Called
on my
you
pager.
from the hospital?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I don't know your pay. I ain't seen you in a
Mr.
year,
Couch.
Mrs. I've seen Chris every day. I talk to your little bed buddy. I
Who's
ride
our
the
little
same
bed
bus
buddy?
as your bed buddy.
I'm sorry. I
Who
ain't
is her
dating
little bed
nobody.
buddy? Another man?
I'm single.
Yes, Your Honor.
I am. No.
No,
He is a-
Adrian, you've been with a year and a half.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
haven't resolved your divorce with Mrs. Novak.
No,
You
no.
get into another relationship.
I
Wait
have-
a minute. You get into another relationship. You called her from the hospital.
I never made
Hey,
any
wife,
phone
I'm
calls.
having a baby by somebody else.
You did
I've
too,
never-
because when I was there, I was at my doctor's appointment, and my doctor was sitting there listening to the whole
Oh,
conversation.
that is just ridiculous. You weren't that inconsiderate and that cold, were you?
No, Your Honor.
Yes,
I
he
have not had
was.
any contact with Miss Novak in well over a year.
So how does she
That's
know
a lie
Adrian has a
because-
baby?
So,
How does she
I'm-
know Adrian has a baby?
She's heard through the grapevine, through my
No,
friends and her
no,
friends.
no.
Let
I
me
found-
hear it through the grapevine. Is this the grapevine over here? Miss
No,
Adrian?
this is Adrian, Your Honor.
Come forward, Miss Adrian.
First of all,
Oh, isn't that sweet? Let her hand
And then
go.
on top of that,
Nah, let her hand go. She can stand there by herself. You don't need to do that. You don't need to. I know what that's all about. You trying to prove to Mrs. Novak how much in love you are with Adrian. So you're going to stand here and hold hands in my courtroom and be lovey-dovey. You're still married to Mrs. Novak. I don't really appreciate that type of conduct.
There's nothing, yes, I don't understand.
To me, it's disrespectful. So you don't get brownie points doing that with me.
I'm not looking for brownie points.
I just want you to know.
Yes, ma'am.
To me, it's really disrespectful of your wife, of yourself, and of, what's your last name?
Sofer.
Miss Sofer. You know you're still a married man, Miss Sofer, in case you didn't know it.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
When I first met him, the divorce had been filed.
no, it had no.
Yes.
Hold on
it
a
had
second.
not.
Filed?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
That's what I was under the impression. Chris had given Ms. Novak the money to pay for the divorce, and she bounced the check.
And
so
that's
it
what
didn't
he
get
told
filed.
you?
Yes.
And he was the good guy because he gave her the money to pay for the divorce, and she bounced the check. So as far as you were concerned, this was the bad person, and he was all right with you.
Yes.
So, but the divorce wasn't filed.
No.
No, because the check bounced and the lawyer didn't file it.
And you still, which meant that he was still married.
Yes.
And maybe she bounced the check because she didn't want to be divorced. And maybe he told her to bounce the check. You didn't find all of that out. You just took his word, right?
Yes, I did.
And started hanging out with him.
Yes.
Didn't matter to you, really, did it?
Well, yes, it mattered.
You knew they weren't divorced, even if it had been filed.
I was under the impression. Yeah, I was under the impression it had been filed.
Filed is not final.
I understand.
You know the difference, don't you?
Yes, I do.
So don't play that one with me. It didn't matter to you whether he was divorced or not. Now, what you want to tell me about this situation?
Well, when I first met Chris, it had been a few months, and she knew where we were living, and she was calling me every day, several times a day, saying, "Oh, I want to talk to you. I want to be friends with you." And I told her, "I'm not interested in being friends. You know, I don't want anything to do with you." And she kept harassing. She kept calling every day, not to talk to Chris. I can understand that. You know, they have unresolved issues. That's fine.
Yeah,
but she was
when
calling to talk
I
to
tried
me.
calling, you would always say he wasn't there when he was
Why,
there.
don't the two of you have children together?
No,
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Oh,
we
you
do
have
not.
two children on
I
your-
have
by
two
another
children of my
relationship?
yes, and this was
And now
way
you have
before
another
Chris.
child with somebody else, but
Yes.
didn't have a child with your wife? What is this all about?
I think that's only one reason why he got with her is to have a child.
What, you couldn't produce a child for him? Oh,
No.
is that what the problem was in this relationship?
I
He
think so.
wanted his own child by you, and you couldn't produce?
I did not want no child by her.
All right, so you're telling me that she's calling you, and Mrs. Novak, his wife, is calling your house for her husband, harassing you. What else
She's
you wanna
calling
tell
for me. She never asked
Oh,
for
she's
Chris.
harassing
I
you.
asked for Chris
Me, myself.
several times.
Hold on, Mrs. Novak. And then what? What else you want to tell me?
Well, about Chris calling her in the hospital, Chris stayed by my side the whole time I was in labor. He took me to the hospital. He was by my side. He never left my side. The only time he left my side was to go with my newborn son to get a bath.
When divorce court returns, Chris's girlfriend makes a plea.
She needs to leave us alone. You know, we have our own life.
Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? Take your case to a new court show and be represented by a prominent attorney. Call 877-777-0099. Divorce Court is back in the case of Shontel Novak as she listens to testimony from her husband Chris's new girlfriend.
So if he left your side to go with your son to get a bath,
Yes.
how do you know he didn't go to the phone?
The hospital that we delivered at, one parent has to be with the child at all times, or the child cannot leave the room. Since
Nope.
I was in no shape to go with the child, Chris went to get his bath, get his vitamin K shot, etc.
Okay, so that doesn't mean that he didn't go use the telephone. You act like people don't disobey rules and don't, you know what
And
I'm
I
saying, do
know-
what they're not supposed to do. Obviously, you people don't follow rules, because if you did, you wouldn't be here talking about I have his baby. Because he's still married to her. So you don't follow rules. Now, what else you want to tell me?
Well, aside from the harassment, she's been slandering my name recently,
You
like last
slandered
month.
your own name when you slept with a married man. You slandered your own name by your own conduct. And then when you had a baby by him, you just added to the slander. And you know he's not divorced. You slandered your own you ruined your reputation.
she's been going around saying that when I got pregnant, I was a minor, which is not true. If it was true, that means I had a 14-month pregnancy, which I think is impossible.
Whether you are a minor, whether you're an adult.
I know,
still,
exactly, it doesn't matter. But
right.
She's been going around telling people that we both know, spreading this rumor that Chris is some child molester because he was sleeping with me when I was a minor.
So that's what you
He
want
should
to
have
tell
been
me.
sleeping with you in the first place.
All right. Anything else you want to tell me?
Someone sleeping with someone.
Okay, Mr. Couch. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Miss Sofer, not Mrs. Yet.
Miss.
Now, what else you want to tell me?
She needs to leave us alone. You know, we have our own life. Chris has been trying to make his own life with me. You know, in your opinion, if it's right or wrong, it's what we want. You know, she needs to stay out of it.
He can have you.
You know, she needs to stay. She needs to stay out of it. She needs to stop calling and harassing you. You can get a restraining order. She needs to stop talking about you and spreading any rumors that are not true about you. But slander is something that's not true.
It is. It's
well,
not true.
I don't care about the age, but you gave yourself a bad reputation.
That has nothing to do with what she's saying, though.
Okay.
She's saying I was a minor. I was 18
well, you know
and a
what?
half.
You know how old you were.
Yes, I do.
And what does it matter?
Because she's giving Chris a bad reputation.
Thank you.
Also, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. You need, if in fact you are falsely accusing your husband of child molestation, that's a crime. And you need to stop doing that. If in fact you're doing that, that is not necessary. All right? If he chose to have a baby by this woman, she was underage. If she's not complaining about it, if the state is not complaining about it, then you need to leave it alone because you're not getting anywhere with it. They're not going to prosecute him unless she makes a complaint or one of her parents. It's happened now. That doesn't get you any brownie points. Doesn't help you in it at all. He doesn't want you. He's left you.
I don't want him either.
All right, so, but you don't need to try to make his life miserable by calling him a child molester. What he's done, his reputation will speak for itself. All right? Don't bring yourself down trying to destroy him. It really makes you look small. All right?
Yes.
Now, what else can I do for you people today?
Well, in a matter of, I collect plates, Your Honor. Okay.
What is that?
It is a Franklin mint plate of an Indian priestess with
Who
wolves.
bought that, though?
A Franklin mint plate?
Yes, Your Honor.
And why is it all broken up in pieces?
Well, at the time when I decided to finally leave the house after catching Shontel cheating on me again, I was leaving, and she decided, knowing that this is what value to me. Okay, I'm part of American.
You're a collector?
What about
Franklin
the
mint
value
plates?
I am a collector as well as also being partial American Indian, and these are American Indian plates.
Those are American Indian plates?
Yes, ma'am.
So very valuable to you.
They're very valuable. That's part of my heritage.
Who bought
the way I
those,
look at
though?
it? I bought them.
No, you did not.
Anyways, knowing that these are of great value to me, and I said, as far as I could, it's part of my heritage. She grabbed them off the walls and started throwing them.
How many did she throw and break?
3 total, Your Honor.
So that's just one broken piece. How did you manage to keep it?
I just wanted a few things. When I moved out, I put a bunch of stuff together.
Can you put that back together?
No, I can put it back together, but there are pieces missing, Your Honor.
Can you buy that again? Can it be replaced?
Yes, you can.
No.
Or
You
is
cannot.
each one different?
There's
It can
limited.
be
If you look
replaced.
at the back, Your Honor, there's a limited amount of firing days.
Let me see. So they're special edition
Yes, Your Honor.
and they can't be replaced?
Yes,
No,
they
ma'am.
can.
The exact
Because-
same one?
Yes,
exact
because
same
I
plate.
have bought the same exact one for my brother for Christmas.
No, the plates are numbered, so they can't be the same exact one.
Well,
it
not
has
the
a
same
number,
exact
it
plate,
has a
but that
number.
same exact design.
Has a number on it. So each plate is numbered. So it can't be the same exact one if each of them is numbered. So it doesn't matter who bought it. Why did you break it and destroy it?
He had pushed me to it, Your Honor.
What do you mean he pushed you to it?
We were fighting, and that was the first. It was either,
Fighting physically?
Yes.
No. I was trying to leave the house. I've got witnesses. I've got a letter
Why
here.
didn't you tell her about the time
I
that?
I've got
want you
a
to tell
letter
me
here
about
from-
any other time except breaking these plates. Why did you break up these plates?
He had pushed me to it, and I did not mean
What
to
do you
break
mean by
them.
pushed you to it? Made you angry?
Yes.
And so you took the plates and threw them?
I did not mean to break them, Your Honor.
What do you mean you didn't mean to
I
break
didn't
them?
How
mean
can you
to
not
break-
mean to grab something off of a wall and throw it across the room at me?
I guess it's like Just one thing led to another,
Yes,
right?
Your
did
Honor.
not
It's like
mean
she
to
has
break
no
those
control over
plates.
her body.
What did you mean to do with them when you took them? Did you take them off the wall?
Yes, I did.
Did you throw them?
Yes.
What did you mean to do when you threw a plate?
I didn't mean to break it.
What did you mean to do? Tell me what you meant. What did you mean to do with the plate?
I didn't mean to throw it as hard as I did.
Oh, okay.
And when it did shatter, I had apologized to him after I had found it and it
Ms.
shattered.
Novak, you were angry.
Yes.
You meant to break that plate. That's why you took it and threw it. You knew that plate was not going to go unbroken if you took it and threw it. Come on. You use that excuse a lot. I didn't mean to. Take control of your life and mean what you do. You meant every bit of it. You knew these plates were meaningful to him, did you not?
I knew a couple of them were.
Right.
And I
you
had
pulled
bought
down
a
those
couple.
through. I don't care who bought it. Doesn't give you the right to destroy it in anger. And you could have hit him.
But see, I did hit him once and I almost went to jail, but he ended up going to jail instead.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yes,
Is
it
that-
was.
no, it's not. Neither one of you should be committing violence against each other.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict.
Okay, stop. I just wanted to see if you could agree on anything. I didn't expect an agreement. That was a test, and you both failed.
And an update on the case of Adelia Pineda versus Rodney Hall.
Our family's freeloaders. They always want us to do things for them, take them places, give them money.
Divorce court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce court is back in the case of Shontel Novak, who says her husband Chris got another woman pregnant while they were married.
How much are these plates worth, Mr. Couch?
They're valued anywhere between $100 and $150 a piece. Your Honor.
Well, now, which one you want me to put on it?
That one, they started off at $100, Your Honor.
Okay, this is your property. She
100.
damaged it. Tell me what's the value to
They're
you.
valued at $100 a piece.
$100 a piece, and she damaged 3 of them?
Yes, Your Honor.
And they were all bought during the marriage?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's unfortunate that they were all bought during the marriage. That means that not only were they belonged to both of you, or were they purchased as a gift for him?
They were bought for both of us. They were bought for the house.
Wrong. They were bought by me for
No,
me.
they were not because I am the one that
okay,
ordered
stop.
them.
I just wanted to see if you could agree on anything. I didn't expect an agreement. That was a test, and you both failed. Since they were purchased during the marriage, I don't care whose money purchased the items. It's a community item. It wasn't a gift to either one of you from the other. You can't give a gift to yourself. It has to be from one or the other spouse. So therefore, you have to pay 1/2 the value of those plates. You're ordered to reimburse Mr. Couch $150. I know that won't get you back the plates that she destroyed, but you do have to give him $150 for breaking the plates. That's the order of the court. Court's adjourned.
All rise.
When divorce court returns, an update on the case of Adelia Pineda versus Rodney Hall.
He didn't want my mom to come to my house. He didn't want me to let me talk to my friends. If you say you love me and you care about me, why are you doing this?
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? To appear before a real judge on a new court show, call 877-777-0099. And now for an update on a previous case in divorce court. Rodney Hall said he wanted to divorce his wife Adelia because he was tired of supporting her family.
Our family's freeloaders. They always want us to do things for them, take them places, give them money.
If they need some help, I will help them.
But Adelia said Rodney tried to control her life and cut her off from her family.
He blocked your
He blocked-
line
yeah,
so
he
that your
blocked-
mother and family couldn't call
They
you.
can call me.
What is that all about?
I blocked the calls because I didn't want them making and leaving them threatened phone calls.
He didn't want my mom to come to my house. He didn't want me to let me talk to my friends. If you say you love me and you care about me, why are you doing this?
Rodney had refused to give Adelia her furniture after she left him, but the judge gave Rodney 24 hours to let Adelia back in the house to get her things. Adelia says she is happy to have her furniture back, especially since she is about to move into her own apartment. Rodney says after he left court, he decided to make amends with Adelia's family. He volunteered to drive her sister Lulu to work and was surprised when she gave him money for gas. Rodney says he was even more surprised when Adelia's mother invited him to a karaoke bar and then paid the entire bill.
I'm somewhat pleased with the verdict. I mean, I got some of the money back of the value of the plates, but not at all. I mean, $150 won't replace what was brought. Then again, $300 wouldn't have replaced what was broken either.
The way Chris treated me in court today was totally wrong.
She was completely erratic. She couldn't validate anything, and it's been that hard. Just a brief description of this what happened today is basically what our marriage was like.
He had just made me to the point where I cannot control my anger anymore.
I can't have a friendship with Miss Novak. I don't want her in my life at all. I want her completely gone.